Really, we're excited to partner with investors. One, because it's an unmet need in the market. And two, we're really excited to give them the digital experience they're looking for to, give great service and ultimately help them scale their businesses.
Imagine you are at an appointment with a property owner and you have just come to an agreement and you have just put pen to paper. They have committed to working with you to get this property sold. They're ready to go. And imagine this. Imagine you telling them, you know what? I'm going to open up escrow right here when I'm sitting next to you. I'm going to submit all the paperwork and I'm going to open up escrow and I'm going to start that title process so that we know if there's any issues, any hiccups that'll prevent us from closing in the time that we have on the contract. And then not only that, then you go back to your office, you go back to your house, and you start on the way back to your office, back to your house, you make some calls to some of your investors, to some of your cash buyers, and you start telling them about this amazing opportunity to see if they want to buy this contract from you. And they say, I want that deal, but you're not sure yet. You're not sure if you want to commit to that cash buyer yet, because really, it's not a sealed deal until they deposit their non-refundable earnest deposit. Well, imagine this. Imagine that in that instant that they say that they want that deal, they could go on their phone and they could submit their earnest money right now. No wiring, no running a check over to the title company. Just submit it online to your title company. Imagine all of these things, guys. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're talking about on the Wholesaling Inc. podcast today, because today I have an incredible guest that is doing something revolutionary, something that is going to explode our efficiency in this business. And it is my pleasure to introduce to you from Empora Title, Megan Harris. Megan, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Brent. I'm very excited to connect with all of you today.
Listen, one of the biggest hurdles that I faced and that continue to face in our business is finding really great escrow and title companies or closing attorneys to be able to get these deals done. And it seems like every so often I have to kind of change tracks and change who I'm doing business with because they change their policies or they want to be more retail focused and not as investor focused as I would prefer. And you decided to go out there and really target us wholesalers, us investors, and say, hey, what do you guys need from a title company? And then you're going out and solving those issues that we all face in this business. So tell us about Empora Title. Tell us why you built this. You created it, right?
Yeah. Empora is going on 3 years old now. So founded the company about 3 years ago. And Brent, you really hit the nail on the head. At the end of the day, the title process sucks today. It's paperwork, it's emails, it's not knowing what's going on. And, prior to starting Empora, I actually spent some time building software for title companies and just saw how broken the whole process was. So started Empora in 2020 with the idea that, at the end of the day, investors do a ton of real estate, but nobody has really built a title company specifically tailored for them. And we're really excited to, build a process that's fully automated for investors and ultimately helps them grow their business and helps them, meet their goals in terms of growth and how much business they want to do.
So why work with investors? Why not build a company that's going after, the big fish, so to speak, which is, retail buyers and sellers, people refinancing, that type of thing?
Yeah, great question. So investors are, really, from my perspective, a modern day set of entrepreneurs in the US. And it's really exciting to partner with small business owners to really take what they've built and help them take it to the next level. Investors do a third of all real estate transactions in the US, so they're a really underserved group in the market. So, when we started Empora, we're not the first company to try building, a digital title transaction, but nobody has really gone in and said, let's break this whole process down for investors and streamline it specifically for them and partner with them to, take a digital experience to scale. I think one of the primary differences with investors in comparison to some of the big fish you're talking about, if you will, is that they're also, really focused on delivering a great experience to their parties, their sellers, their buyers, the people they work with, which means helping them save time. That doesn't mean, taking the cardboard key to the closing table and taking a photo. There's a lot of people who like that experience. That's great, but that's not what investors are building, and that's not the experience they're trying to deliver. So really, we're excited to partner with investors, one, because it's an unmet need in the market, and two, we're really excited to give them the digital experience they're looking for to, give great service and ultimately help them scale their businesses.
I love it. So walk me through this process, because I kind of gave it a little glimpse. Megan and I talked before the podcast, and I've seen it. I've been involved and really seen underneath the hood of how they work and submitting the deal and what it looks like. And you can track everything online. You can track every part of the title process online, so you know exactly what you're going, what part of the process you're in, and then if there's any red flags that pop up that need to be resolved, which is phenomenal, because when we uncover issues, then we can solve issues, and that is really helpful. And the earlier in the process we can do that, the more likely we are to close on the time that we have on the contract, which is really important. We don't want this thing dragging out forever and ever. We want to get in and out and move on to the next transaction, and that's really what this Empora does. So walk us through this. Like, give us a just ground level view of, okay, I just got a deal, and then what happens?
Yep. So you just get a deal. Whether or not you've worked with us before, you go to emporatitle.com and there will be a button right on the site, super easy, that says submit your deal. And basically what we do is you upload your contract and you give us the same information that you would a title company in an email. People typically have the emails they write out with all the info, and that email sits in somebody's inbox normally and, sometimes gets lost in the worst case. So you enter all that info, and then that immediately kicks off all of our processes internally. So we order the title work literally immediately because, we're doing it with technology. We reach out to your seller immediately because we have all their information up front. And so if you think about the key pieces, the next thing we do is we send an earnest money request to your buyer as soon as you have them, if you have them up front. And probably most of the people listening to this podcast have used Chase Quick Pay or Venmo, applications like that to send money to one another. And we use the same banking technology to collect earnest money from that buyer through our site. So like you said earlier, instead of having to go into their bank and tee up a wire, or you as the wholesaler having to send wire instructions and, this whole back and forth and wondering what's going on with earnest money, they can literally just go straight into our site, log into their bank securely, and then send earnest money to us. And as soon as we have that, we'll notify you. So that is a really nice way to kick off the transaction. As it kind of progresses, we'll give you, a full rundown of the title work as it comes back, and we itemize it out to say, here are all the issues, here's the status on them, here are the final payoff amounts. And we know as well as anybody that time kills all deals, right? So we take all of those issues and we clear them as fast as humanly possible. And because we're a tech company, we're able to track that and predict it really well. And then when it comes to closing time, Brent, we try to be as digital first as we can, but ultimately meet people where they are. So for the investor, the cash buyer that, prefers to just close digitally, we have a remote online notary software that we use, so you can literally close from your couch. We've had a couple people literally close from airplanes, like from a jet.
Awesome.
One of our Google reviews has that story listed. And then, for your seller who really does value that in-person handshake and being able to look a notary in the eyes and have somebody meet them where they are, we have that too, no matter where you are in the U.S. So those are really the big pieces of the transaction. We fund same day, and ultimately get the recordings teed up after the fact, knowing that everybody is sensitive to seasoning periods and things like that. So the whole goal is to take every piece of the process and do it as quickly as possible, and keep the wholesaler informed every step of the way.
I love it. And listen, if you guys are listening to this or watching it on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel, and you've never done a deal, or you're just getting into this world, don't let some of these terms scare you. Basically, you understand, I hope you understand at some point, that there are people that have personal problems with their property. All right. These are the people that we serve. These are the people that we speak to. These are the people that we go and we have conversations, quality conversations with them. And then we make offers, and those are written offers. It's a purchase agreement. What we're talking about is, once that purchase agreement is signed between that property owner that's having those personal problems with that property and yourself, what do you do next? Who's going to help you get this through the finish line? And what Megan's talking about is, you simply take a picture of that purchase agreement. You could do it right there at the house. You could do it if you're doing this virtually and you're getting an email copy of it. You can upload it right there very easily, and that kicks off the title process. They make sure, title companies make sure that when the property transfers from this owner to the new owner, that there's no other liens, there's no other clouds on title, there's nobody that can come back and claim that they have some interest in this property. It's a very critical part of our real estate process, but it is always, and I will tell you this, Megan, but beyond, I say it'll be number two. The number one thing that makes people that are just starting out in this business the most nervous, number one, is raising funds, and number two is talking to a title company. Is just talking to, because it's so foreign. I remember when I started out, I had no idea what title and escrow was. I had no idea. It was like, is this like a car title type thing where you sign the back and then they stamp it and then something else happens and all these things? I had no idea what a title and escrow company did or what their role was, or let alone like walk into the building and then just start trying to talk to somebody. These are fancy buildings. They have these big conference rooms with these big oak tables that can fit 15 people at. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what I'm doing here, and I'm not really sure what you do here. And so I want to just, everybody that's listening and watching this, if you're just a little bit nervous or it feels like we're talking over your head, don't worry about any of that. Just know this: you get a purchase agreement, you upload it to Empora, and they start taking over from there. And that's what I want. That's really the key. And then the other thing I was thinking about, Megan, going on, just switching lanes, because this is what I do. I'm thinking, if I'm at a property and I'm competing against other offers, and I go, listen, I'll tell you what, I'm so committed to you right now that I'm willing to make a deposit. I'm willing to make a deposit right now. We sign this agreement. I'll upload it to my title company right here, and I will also deposit the funds right now before I leave. That's how serious I am about buying your house. How powerful is that? What are the other guys going to do? Oh, no, I'll just drop it off at the title company tomorrow or whatever else. No, I'm going to do it right now. That's how serious I am about buying your property. Powerful. I love that. That's
powerful.
Incredible. So, what states are you available in, and when are you going to be nationwide?
Yep.
Because we need you, Megan.
Yeah, so we can't wait. We can't wait to be national. So we're currently in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Missouri. So we're in that batch. We started in Ohio, and that's really our flagship state, but have been doing deals in the others as well since then. And, looking to be national, hopefully by the end of 2024 would be great. But, we're really focused on the states where investors are most active. So the Sun Belt states and, the Midwest cities where obviously investors are gaining traction.
I love it. Well, anytime you want to come to Arizona, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, no, Arizona.
I love it. Okay, so Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Florida, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Missouri.
Yes. Yep.
Awesome. And you've got 23 more coming on. We won't list all of those. You guys go to Empora.com.
EmporaTitle.com. Yep.
EmporaTitle.com. And you could, I think you guys have a map of where you guys are going to be soon,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, we have an incredible amount of wholesalers and investors in those 7 markets already, so that's a no-brainer. And if you guys are nervous about, well, I don't want to go get a property under contract because I don't know who to use as a title company, that excuse is gone. All right? That's what we do in this podcast. We remove all of the excuses, all of the hurdles that you have so that you can actually go out there and serve the people that have those personal problems with their properties. That's what we're trying to do. That's the goal of this podcast is to give you all of the instruction, tools, and resources that you need to be able to go out there and really take massive imperfect action. So that is awesome. And nationwide by, do you have a goal?
End of 24.
End of 24, nationwide. End of 24. Awesome. That is amazing. Okay. And then the other question I had for you, Megan, was it is critical. It is like the number one first teammate that we put on our team as real estate investors is a great escrow officer. All right? They will make or break your deals. They will be able to solve a lot of the problems. They will be able to make sure that the seller is getting all the information that is needed to be able to complete the transaction. They're going to tell us if anything that pops up that we need to remedy. How do you find, recruit, and train your escrow officers?
That is a great question. So, yeah, great question. So a couple of things. One, our team is awesome. So thank you, to my team if you guys are listening to this. They are absolutely great. And, from a skill set standpoint, we typically look for people who have worked in multiple markets, probably have worked on a national platform at some point, so they know how to, really close deals in multiple states for investors. Ideally, they've worked with investors at some point and are people who have worked with, everything from the brand new investor all the way up to, the bulk buying institution, and they've really seen it all. The mindset of that escrow officer is someone who, gets the urgency and also gets the fact that, closing these deals means, we're helping somebody get their paycheck on time. It's not just, a seller who needs to get a house sold on a certain timeline. And so those skill sets we always look for. But at the end of the day, Brent, the thing that we most look for are people who are hungry and show a high degree of ownership and attention to detail and really want to help build, this experience that investors have never had access to. And so our escrow officers and our client success team are absolute heroes because they really are the full package. And we're really looking for, the people who have, seen different aspects of the transaction. They know how broken it is and they want to build, the new age of what this is going to look like for investors going forward.
So you hire winners.
Winners.
That's
Yeah.
it. I'll tell you what, it's really interesting. We had this event in my office this weekend called Rhino Roundtable, and it's all about when people are ready to scale their business. And the number one fundamental factor for hiring anybody on my team in my company is they have to want to win. They have to hate losing. They want to improve themselves because they want to be really good at what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's a different type of personality. It's a different type of motor. Like batteries come included with these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
They got to have a big engine and they got to have big goals and they have to have they have to just be willing to be of service. Not these people that are like, oh, I'm going to clock in, clock out, and that's going to be it, and it's going to be done. The people that don't work because they have to work. They don't work because you're cracking the whip and really, making sure that they're running as fast as possible. No. They're doing it because that's their nature. They're doing it because they want to go out and really do something special with their professional career. And that's for anybody in that you hire in your business. But it sounds like you've put a bunch of them on your roster there.
Yeah, I mean, at Empora, the whole company, as a whole, one of our values is striving for growth over perfection. And we, in our interview process, regardless of what role you're coming into, you could be a software engineer, you could be an escrow officer, you name it. We look for people who have that hunger, have that tick. We might not always know where it comes from, but you've got it and you can tell, when you're bringing on those kinds of folks. And so, they keep the motor running, and those are definitely the kind of people that you want running your transaction, because they're going to care about it getting over the finish line just as much as you do. And that's what we look for.
I love it. Growth over perfection. We call it progress, not perfection.
Yeah.
Here in the Rhino tribe. Same
Yep.
thing. I love it. Absolutely love it. So let me ask you this, and this is probably a question that is in the back of a lot of people that are experienced in the wholesale business. Oftentimes, there's a nervousness at when it's time to actually close the deal, right? Everybody sees the settlement statement, and in our with our title company, they do split. The seller sees their side, the buyer sees their side. It's a split settlement statement. Do you guys do that? Do you guys run into that? Do you guys it's never been an issue? Like, talk to me about, when wholesalers are making a really nice profit on a deal and they're really nervous that something at the very last moment is going to like trip it up. Like, do you ever see that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we see that nervousness quite a bit, and what we try to do is help the wholesaler and the seller, be comfortable from points A to Y before we get to point Z, and really make sure that everybody's comfortable leading up to the closing table. And what we do with our system is we actually give the wholesaler the ability to review and approve the settlement statement before anybody else sees it. So we do that in our site, where wholesalers can log in, a few days before closing. They can see the settlement statement. They can put in any comments, concerns they might have. We get it back. We make a revision. And then that's when we send it out. The last thing we want for anybody on any transaction is to get to the closing table and not understand what they're looking at, and not be comfortable, right? So our whole goal and what we do in our system is, create those review steps, a few days ahead of closing. So, no one's surprised day of.
I love it. I love it. Guys, this is going to change our business. This is going to change our business. I am telling you, it has been a constant chase to find a really solid title and escrow company that understands wholesale deals, creative finance. By the way, you guys do creative finance. You guys do sub 2. You guys do novations. You guys do anything that an investor can put together, you guys can help out with. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it all. We'll let you know if you ever bring us something we can't handle, but all the major categories of transactions, we currently do today.
I love it. And you created this business 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why title and escrow? Why real estate? You know what I mean? Why not use your talents and skills for some other business?
I'm a daughter of an immigrant and somebody who, didn't go to college, but built a, great career for himself here in the States. And I am always very motivated to help people achieve their goals. And real estate is an asset class that, people can have access to and can build really great businesses, no matter where you come from. If you've got the drive and the grit and the persistence to build something, you can do that in real estate. And so I always want to work around those kinds of people for the rest of forever. And having been in, a title in a different capacity, I just saw a huge opportunity where it's like, guys, this should be a lot easier than it is today. And I see a way to do it. And so didn't see anybody else doing it, so I decided to do it. It certainly has its challenges, just like any business. But, at the end of the day, we're facilitating, the last mile of the most important transaction in somebody's life. And that should be easy. So have always been motivated by those things, and am excited to continue to build Empora with our team and investors like the ones listening today.
Awesome. Incredible, guys. If you guys are in those 7 states and you're looking for a title company right now, make sure you go to Empora Title, EMPORA title.com. Check that out. Start working. Start finding some opportunities, having conversations every single day, making offers every day, it is inevitable that you are going to find somebody that wants to do business with you. And when that time comes, feel confident that you know that you're in good hands getting that deal across the finish line with Empora Title. And just keep an eye. If you're not in those 7 states or not doing business in those 7 states, you're going to see over the next, let's call it 18 months, a lot of growth and a lot of openings in different states that you could take advantage of. It's awesome. You're filling a huge need for this community, Megan. I'm so glad that you decided to put your efforts into this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And you have an incredible staff. I have the opportunity to know some of them, and they're absolutely phenomenal. So thank you for being on here. Anything else that I missed? Anything else that our audience should know before we end this podcast?
The only other thing I would mention, Brent, is if you're, either somebody who's trying to get your first deal done, or, you're going from 1 to 10 and maybe, you found a deal in a market that you haven't done business in, just give us a call, because we'll tell you, what you need to watch out for in any given market, even if we're not necessarily there. So, yes, we're live in those states, but don't hesitate to reach out, even if you're just thinking about, hey, should I go start investing in Tampa? We'll walk you through the things you need to be looking out for from a process perspective, and, tell you obviously how we handle it. But we're here to help. We want to help you all grow. And just really appreciate you having us on.
Awesome. Thank you, Megan.
Thank
and
you
that's
so
it,
much.
guys. Yeah, check it out, emporatitle.com. We're going to get loud. We're going to have Megan on over and over, maybe quarterly, just to let everybody know what they're doing and how they're doing it and how they are increasing their different markets that they're in. That's absolutely incredible. And if you're interested in joining the most proactive group, the most proactive community, the most proactive tribe in real estate investing, it is the Rhino Tribe. Go to wholesalinginc.com. Check it out. Check out everybody that's doing amazing things around the country. And if it feels good in your gut, sign up for a call, and we look forward to working with you personally. And that's it. On behalf of myself and the entire Rhino Tribe, I encourage you to go out and talk to people. Till next time, guys. Love you guys. See ya.